So hello everyone. Today I'm going to deliver our presentation of autonomous vehicle issue. So first, let's see the outline. First, I'm going to raise the two problems and then analyze the causes for each of them, and then raise the solution, and finally to carry out the counter-argument and rebuttal for the second solution. So let's first see the first problem. Current liability system is outdated because since the autonomous vehicle entered the market, which will change the liability holder from the past drivers to the current passengers, car sharing companies, and manufacturers. So in these cases, the current liability system is no longer useful and fairly to judge the cases happened in the future. So how should we solve it? Government can build a no-fault liability system. So first, let's see what is no-fault. It can be divided into two parts, economic and non-economic damages cases. And for the economic damages cases, it is decided by monetary thresholds, which is the passenger and the pedestrian can agree on both who should take the liability and how much the liable person should compensate for the damages without litigation. In this case, we should notice that the stakeholders need to negotiate in private, and there is a limitation of prosecution. So that's why we call it the liability system no fault. And then for the non-economic damages cases, it is divided by verbal thresholds, which is the government stipulates under what circumstances and the injured party can prosecute for severe or permanent suffering and injury. So in this part, only if there are some accidents happened with someone injured, and the government should decide who should take the liability. So as for the benefits of no-fault liability system, first, there is no more extra spending on litigation fee. And this is because the right to sue is limited to specific situation. And also people make their economic need more efficient because the payment benefit the injured party timely. So in this way, the autonomous vehicle market can make a virtuous circle by the no-fault liability system. Actually, there is the history of no-fault liability system. In the 1970s, the concept of the no-fault liability system was introduced and adopted first. And then in the 1980s, it was declined because of the opposition of trial lawyers and the failure to lower the premiums. The decline reason can be concluded as, at that time, the main cause of accidents are human errors. So the limitation of right to sue could not give a fair judgment, so people disagree with it. But why we reconsider it now, it is because since the self-driving cars enter the market, the main causes of accidents becomes the faulty design features of cars, so there is no need to indict and argue the distribution of responsibility. And then we come to the second problem, which is the increased cost. Also, because of the autonomous vehicle enter the market, there will be some appearance of self-driving car defects, and it will definitely increase the maintenance fee, and also the change of liability holder, especially before the no-fault liability system carry out. There will be an increase of litigation cost. So how to solve the second problem? The government can build the National Insurance Fund. How it works? First, the government combines riders and manufacturers from small and large states, and the National Insurance Fund will have a larger inventory, which will help reduce monthly costs on car insurance and to help manufacturers effectively spread out the risks, and then to even help eliminate deductibles to pay the claim for damages. So the bigger the fund, the less each person needs to pay, so that the fund can incentivize all stakeholders to create, buy, and use self-driving cars. Then we come to the counter-argument and rebuttal for the second solution. Since after building the National Insurance Fund, the demand for private insurance will fall and also the supply will fall too. So in order to run the business, the private companies will drastically raise premiums to left customers, which will result in both the private companies and left customers disagree with the project. So in order to implement our program, the government can provide short-term subsidies. So maybe after that, the stakeholders can agree with the program. So how can it help approve the fund? First, it can encourage the private companies to switch their types of service to other fields, and also to encourage left customers to choose the National Insurance Fund during the time providing the subsidies. Actually, other examples of large government programs such as Social Security and Medicare are also disagreed with some stakeholders at first, but after implementing, did benefit the national. So why not to have a try for the insurance fund? And that's all our presentation. Thanks for your listening.